Now it's time to present a corporate presentation. The topic would be Resolve, Don't Just Respond, the new math of faster resolution. For this presentation, I would like to invite Mr. Subodh Nair, the sales leader from DevRev. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? Louder, louder. Thank you. I welcome you, sir, on the stage. Over to you.
Good morning. Am I audible? At the back? Thank you. So, quick introduction from my side. So, I've been with DevRev for close to an year and a half now. Comes with an industry experience of 23 years. Been with some of the large companies like Amazon Web Services. I have led the South Asia business in the media and broadcasting industry. Been a sports entrepreneur for 5 years and have been an engineer at Adobe and like companies. So I have seen multiple these tech revolutions and everything. And today we're going to talk about the user expectations from a customer experience or customer support point of view. But quick age check. How many of you have used the rotary dial phone back in late 80s and early 90s? Anyone? Man, don't we feel old now, right? Just 4 or 5 hands, right? But for all the other Gen Zs, like, let me explain you like what it used to be having an MTNL phone in Delhi, right? Your phone goes down, you walk up to your nearest MTNL office, lodge a complaint, they take it down on a paper, and you wait for the next 2 to 4 days at home so a technician would come. And if you're not, and the technician comes and you're not at home, you have to go back again to the MTNL office, lodge the complaint, and repeat that process. And when the technician comes, he rectifies your phone. Does anyone know what you used to do? A 20 rupees tip? Remember that? And then on every Holi Diwali, there's a knock on your door. The same technician would come and ask you, Sir, Holi and Diwali ka. Right? That used to be the customer support back in early 90s. The customer support was the king. They'll dictate your terms. Cut to 2000s. We had a helpline number, an IVR. Now, what is a customer getting? You get a complaint number, right? You call up the phone, you wait on the long queue, all you get is complaint number. So that next time when you call, you can refer to the complaint number, but there is no promise of resolution. The company still dictates. Then come the era of 2010s. How many of you used Orkut? Man, all right. So at least, some of the Gen Zs have used Orkut. But the world of the social media, the Facebooks, and people started talking on different channels. You lodge your complaint not just on a helpline number, an email, and a Facebook. But then what happens in the different channels? You lodge a complaint on Facebook, you get frustrated, doesn't get resolved, you call up, explain your problem again. They just don't talk to each other. That was the user's experience. Cut to 2020. The Amazon has come. The customer experience has been redefined. Right? The Gen Zs have come. Now they want instant resolution. I call up now, you solve it now. They don't have the patience. Otherwise, your brand is getting a hit on the entire social media platform. And what's happening in 2025 and plus? They're asking this question, why is it even happening? It shouldn't have happened at all. Right? That's the kind of customer experience world that we are living in. But how can the companies actually anticipate a problem to happen, right? And that's only going to happen when your entire company is working on a single platform. Your product, your engineering, your support, everybody is reading from the same data. And that's what we call the shared memory. So how is DevRev redefining the whole thing? Let me walk you through like what we have done. Now, this is what we have done in one of the largest fintechs based out of NCR. They get almost 250,000 unique customers logging into the, putting up some kind of a complaint. Close to 1 million L2 level of tickets is what we receive on our platform. We read through the last 6 months of history of their tickets. And what did we find? We brought down their first response time to 38 minutes. That's a 69% faster. We brought down their time to resolution by 69% down. And also, we improved their customer satisfaction score to 4.71. That's what we have done. Now, this is one of the largest airlines in the country. Has anyone faced a situation where you book a ticket, your money gets deducted, but you don't get the PNR? Has it happened? Does it happen to you guys? The money gets deducted, but you don't get what you have asked for, right? What do? You panic. You pick up the phone, you call up the customer support, they'll authorize you, verify you, they go through the entire process, they'll check whether you've got the payment, we received the payment or not, all that thing. How much time does it take? Approximately 20-25 minutes to get an end-to-end resolution. But what happens in the airline industry? If your PNR is not generated and you have to rebook the flight rates will go up. So it's a time-sensitive decision-making, right? So what is happening in an airline industry is that there is a sales force where like the customer information is coming, there's a payment gateway, and there is a booking platform and everything, right? So we brought in all together at one single interface, and then eventually what we have done is that we have reduced that call waiting time from 25 minutes to 4 to 5 minutes. Can we make it less than a minute? Answer is yes. But right now it's a human in the loop, so still there's 4 to 5 minutes, right? Less than 1% of error rate, right? The customer support team doesn't have to switch into different platforms to look into, to authorize the customer at one place, payment at another place, booking at different places. Now this is an HR tech company. They deploy their HR solutions at different companies, and the typical users are the HR users. They ask questions like, how can I do a bulk leave uploads? Can I reopen an appraisal which has been closed? What was the experience like? They used to open a ticket. There's a human person sitting at the back end. They respond with certain SLAs, and then they take an action. What has been transformed is that now everything happens on a conversational chat interface, right? Which not only gives you a search and answer, but actually takes action on your behalf as well. So when they ask this question, like, I want to reopen an appraisal which has been closed, depending upon the permissions and everything, the solution actually goes and takes action on their behalf. So the entire wait time from 3 hours comes down to a few seconds. But how are we doing these things? So this is the first thing that we do. So this is the entire ecosystem of your data, which is there. All your structured data and unstructured data. Your structured data could be something like your CRMs, your product engineering collaboration tools like the Jiras of the world, or any of the databases, or any custom applications for that matter. And then you have your unstructured data, which is sitting in your PDF documents, Google Sheets, Excel files, etc. We all bring them to DevRev, and we build a shared memory. Basically, it's a knowledge graph, right? And in a layman's language, if I talk about, this is a digital twin of your company. It has your business context using your data. On top of this, we give you certain services. The very first service that we do is computer. Now, we have deliberately given it a name as computer. And as an analogy, if I have to tell you what computer is, every company has a CEO, and every CEO, more often than not, has an executive assistant. What is the job of that executive assistant, if you think about it? CEO will give a task. The EA will go and talk to anybody required in that company, will access any systems that is required, gather all the data, present that data in a certain manner which is consumable by the CEO. What have you done? Two things. We have digitized that EA role. We have democratized that EA role. When we say digitized, now we give you a simple bar, a floating bar, or a web, or a mobile, where you can ask questions on your own company's data. Why is it democratized? That is because it can now be given to every single employee of your company, And the reason we are able to do it, because when we bring your data, we inherit all the permissions along with it. So we honor those permissions. So as a CX leader, you may have an elevated level of permission, but your team may not have it. And they will see exactly what they are supposed to see. So that's computer. We also give you something called Agent Studio. So you can build your own agentic AI workflows to solve your own custom business problems or operational problems. And this is a very simple, it can be low code, no code to high level of coding, the way you want to build your agentic AI solutions. Then our customers started coming back and telling us, and all of this system actually exists with your existing ecosystem. But some of the customers started coming to us and telling us, hey, do you have applications? We said, yes, we have applications. So we started giving them a customer support CRM, where like it's completely AI native. A lot of those AI discussion, AI features that customers otherwise ask for, and they start building it in a custom manner in using agentic solutions is all baked into this single CRM. Then we talked about like, can we do something about product engineering, right? So yes. So, otherwise what the product engineering is using something like a Jira. So we started giving them something like a build app, right? Again, entirely AI driven. Then we have an observe app. How do we track like how my users are taking a journey in your D2C or in your website or on your app, right? So that's a small SDK that goes and sits over there, and on it, it starts tracking those users' journey, and we tell you exactly where your users are dropping out there. On top of this, we provide a lot of these use cases that come into being, right? And it's an example use cases. You can have your IT self-service. Your internal IT help desk, like most of it, 50 to 70% actually can be today automated. And we've been doing this with some of our customers. Some of the large logistics company, global logistics companies, we've been doing this entire automation of their entire full internal IT systems. Then you have enterprise search. You can leverage your computer. On top of it, you can search anything and everything, starting from your travel policies to books, to bookings, to even your appraisals, or even to your payrolls. You can search everything. One single place where you can search on your entire company information. You have your support agent assist. Can I sit along with your support agents, right, and help them to resolve questions like, help me to resolve this this complaint from my customer. Help me to, build something, or escalate this to my senior management, right, and so forth. Similarly, a sales assist. Can I automate a lot of this RFP solutioning around these things? Right? And for some of the group companies, can I have a single place where I can have entire visibility of my group of companies, right? And then, of course, our computer agent with, conversational chat with AI resolution as well as voice agents. The one question that we always get, how secure is this, right? But before that, I'll come to that. So we know there are multiple AI solutions today in the market. So, and of course, one of them is Claude, which is pretty famous, right? So we launched something called Enterprise Bench. And, we did some kind of a test, a third-party test around these things. And we gave a certain kind of queries to computer as well as to the Claude. And this was tested by one of the professors in UC Berkeley, and you can go and read more details about it. But what we found was that the accuracy of the answer was 94.3% more with almost 4 times less of tokens. How are we doing that? So Claude is a great company, right? But when you question on Claude, what happens over there, right? And you connect to your multiple MCPs, that to get the data of that question, it will go into each of these data sources, search for that data, and when it finds it, it brings in entirety to its own platform. That's tokens. Millions and millions of tokens. And then in that millions of tokens, it will build a context in the runtime and give you an answer. So if you need a small answer and you give millions of tokens to get that answer, what happens? You compromise on the accuracy. What have we done in DevRev is that we have built the context beforehand, and we give it to the LLM exactly only those thousands of tokens which the LLM requires. So your accuracy goes up, your token consumption comes down. Then comes the security, right? So this question is very common, right? In fact, today in the morning, somebody was asking about security, right? So we are GDPR compliant, we are India DPDP compliant, we are SOC 2, ISO, and so forth, right? I know this can be a lot, but then just to give a comfort, right? We work with some of the largest banks in India and US and Europe. We work with some of the largest fintechs of the country. So we have gone through the entire InfoSec discussions and um, cleared all those things. Some of the regulated industries that we cleared. Who are we exactly? The two gentlemen are the founders of DevRev. They are the ex-founders of Nutanix. And those who don't know about Nutanix, Nutanix was launched around about in 2008-9, went IPO in 2016, and that time it was the largest tech IPO of the world at that point of time. Some of the investors that we have is Khosla Ventures by Vinod Khosla. Most of you would have heard about Vinod Khosla. He is known to make some of the great bets in the industry. And to give a context, he is one of the early investors in OpenAI as well. Right? So this is the second time he has taken a bet on Dheeraj Pandey. Some of our marquee customers are like HDFC, ICICI. They're all mentioned on our websites. You can go and read about like what we do. We have 8 global offices, around about 800 employees, and this is a heat map of like how our geographical representation of our customers are. So we are across multiple geographies. We are serving our customers across the world, and with that, like the one key takeaway that I would like you to go from here is that in today's world, your users probably will forgive you for your first problem, but they don't expect it to come again, right? So how do I make sure that the first problem that I meet with my first customer, I solve it for all my customers? And that only happens when your product engineering and support all work together. And that is the thing, we can talk about more about it, like when we meet at the booth, we have a booth outside. And this is an AI adoption curve that we have seen. And right now we are here. We are seeing some of the early adopters coming in. And more people are going to adopt AI and going to transform their business. Right? We encourage you to download computer.io. If you are a 3 months of paid customer, you are in to be in a MacBook here. And these are the scan codes for that. And with that, thank you. I still have 3 minutes left, so I'm open to take any questions here. Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for the demo. And I am Ria from Bajaj General Insurance. So I just wanted to know, like when you mentioned that you are completely DPDP compliant, what does that mean? How do you define being compliant with it?
So a lot of these things our customers tell us, right, what we should be taking care of, right? So for example, the data should not leave the country. So we are a SaaS player, of course, and we leverage the concept of AWS regions. So your entire data and everything will reside in AWS India. It doesn't leave the border, right? So that is one thing they look at. Data security policies and everything. But the usage of data, consent, and everything lies with our customers, because we assume that you have taken the consent and you are giving it us to process. So that way, we ensure that we are DPDP compliant, right? Largely, they want is that the data should not leave the country. The encryptions, at rest, in transit, everything.
So since you mentioned consent management here, I hope you know like grievance management also goes hand in hand with this and DPDP, right? So how do you plan on dealing with those?
Sorry, this is grievance management.
Right.
But that would be the end customer's responsibility, right? The grievance, the usage of the data. I'm assuming the grievance around the usage of the data, right? So if you have the proper consent and if somebody is taking an objection, the onus is always on the person who is collecting the data.
But then you'd assist with it,
We are the
right?
processors,
Okay.
right? So we assume that you have taken the consent and then only you are passing it on to us.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you. Conscious of the time, we are outside at the booth. Any kind of a detailed technical questions or anything, we are happy to respond to that. And thank you very much again for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for this very special and very meaningful presentation. Now it's time to felicitate him. And to do the honors, I would like to request Mr. Manish Diwan from EVP and Head Customer Services. Please come on stage, sir. From SBI Card and Payment Services. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? Once again, a very big thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.